Hi everybody, welcome to the Becky and Boca Show. I am here with LeAnn, who is a cancer survivor, a stage 4 lung cancer survivor. Stage 4 lung cancer.
Yep.
You were terminal.
Yep.
They had given you a few months to live. Now here I am with you, I think 6 or 7 years later. You look great.
6 years.
And
Yeah.
didn't you just climb, what mountain was that?
Mount Kilimanjaro.
You climbed Mount
I
Kilimanjaro
did.
and you summited it.
Yes. Took 6 days to get up there, but
Did you ever think back then that that would even be possible?
no, and I even really thought, before I went, what are the chances that my lungs are going to really be able to do that?
When you contacted me that you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, people need to hear this, especially cancer patients reach out to me all the time because of your show. So if my life was spared to give other people hope, I think I'm doing an okay job with that. I meet people, every week, and you just keep pushing through it. You get a report that's not so good, just put it behind you and move on. Don't
keep
focus
going.
on that. Yep.
Right.
Live large.
Are your lungs compromised now because of this?
Well, they're supposed to be. So is my immune system, but I've never had COVID.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You got through COVID without
I
getting it?
work in a gym. I traveled all during COVID.
Wow.
I think it might be something in the oncology drug. I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense. But, I was determined to do that climb. And it was a fundraiser. It was for an organization that I've done all my climbs with. And we raise money and awareness to fight human trafficking. And it's called the Freedom Challenge.
Oh.
So it raised $15,000. It was an expensive trip that I paid on my own, but I'll tell you what, I learned so much on that mountain, and the gratitude. The first people that I emailed when I got to the bottom was Al Vegas, my lung oncologist, Chowdhury, my neuro-oncologist, and Mike Casper.
Wow.
And
all local doctors here.
all at LeAnn Cancer.
I want to mention where we are before we go any further.
Yes.
We are in this beautiful park,
I
Wildflower
know.
Park, and we're right near the Palmetto Park Bridge, so if you hear cars going over, that's the noise. And then there's a fountain over there. I don't know if you'll hear that, but we have a lot of background noises. But it's a beautiful place, and I wanted to interview you out here because it's so nice. And,
We've done a few interviews. It has been
Several.
a while, so it's good for people to hear.
You found out you had this because you had lung cancer, which had metastasized to your brain, and you had trouble with motor function?
Yeah, what happened was I really had no symptoms. I was really at the peak of my fitness level.
You're a personal trainer.
Yeah, I wasn't really, I was then. But, I was physically active. I was in fitness competitions, and I rode a bike, and had no indication. And it was Ash Wednesday in church, and my whole left side was numb, and I blew it off. Didn't think anything about it. And then Monday, I'm getting up to feed my dogs and do my routine, get my son breakfast, take him to school, and I was numb on my whole left side, and I kept dropping the bowl. So but still really didn't think, is this something serious?
Of course not.
And I got my car and drove, and then I called my chiropractor and I said, is this from the pinched nerve? And he said, no, you need to go to the ER. It's probably a TIA, which is like mini stroke. And once the TIA word comes up, they scan your brain.
And that's how they found you had large tumors in your brain.
A lot of marbles.
Wow.
And so then they scan the body, because normally if you have brain cancer, it's a tumor. And this was multiple tumors, and so they knew that it had to have metastasized from somewhere else. And the primary source was
from
my
your
lungs. As a non-smoker.
Non-smoker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
After I had a lung biopsy, I guess within the first week, it was weeks after that before my lung biopsy came back, and there was so much going on. I forgot about it.
You didn't even know why they were doing it.
I didn't know, right, what that would mean. And so then I got a call from Dr. Vegas, and he said, it's your lucky day. How lucky can it get? And it enabled me to take an immunotherapy drug, a targeted therapy drug, which I still take today, and will take until it quits
when
working.
you turned around and...
Yeah, so I was on the oral drug, and from what I've learned from other people in feedback, it's considered an extender drug. So that held back any tumor growth, but it had not reduced anything in size.
We got to explain why you have a bag over here.
Anyone who knows me knows I always carry a raw juice bag, because raw juice, since the day I was diagnosed, I have been friends with Barry Rapkin, and I live on 3 bottles of this a day, which is the equivalent of 4 to 5 pounds of vegetables. So I drink 15 pounds of vegetables a day. Now, if you can eat 15 pounds of vegetables, go to it.
And it was Barry who originally reached out to me to interview you.
He has taught me a lot. I wish I could be totally vegan. I'm not, but I have plenty of green days that are just green. And being green really is the way to go if you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy, but I could totally be a pescatarian, but there's all kinds of stuff in fish we shouldn't be eating. It's in everything. It's in everything.
So you believe that cancer is caused by something in the environment?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We've been given a beautiful green earth, and what have we done with it? We've polluted it, and now we're ingesting it. We're eating it, we're breathing it, we're drinking it.
I did an interview with Fran Drescher recently. I was telling you that, the nanny.
Yeah.
And she has the same belief. She's a survivor of uterine cancer, and she does believe that there is a big component in the environment. And so she has a whole website, Cancer Schmancer, where you can go and look at like things to clean your home that are not toxic. She's got a hair salon where in Coconut Creek, I believe it is, Tamarack, somewhere near here, that they only keep the dye on your hair for 10 minutes. They don't have as many chemicals.
Yeah.
So she believes the same thing as a cancer survivor.
Now that I am almost 6 years cancer-free now, a bottle of bleach has entered my home again, and I used
You're letting
it
your guard
one
down.
time. Well, and as soon as I smelt that, I said, it's got to go. Everyone that's eating and drinking and smoking and think that they're going to defy all the odds, it's going to catch up with you.
Be thankful for what you have and don't risk it.
Yes, yeah, as clean as you can live, and there's plenty of cleaners that are chemical free that do a great job.
I wanted to ask you, I don't know how to even put it. In your heart, do you believe this is a miracle?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
because what I've overcome and the level of my existence now is much greater than it was before. I mean, it just
What do you mean by that?
blows my mind all the time. Like, I just did this mountain. I did 2 triathlons in 6 weeks. Like, I've never had that kind of, no. So I am a very prayerful person, and you really have to set your mind on all that is positive, because if you focus on, you know, of course I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, but I sold my house furnished, I moved to the beach, I planned for the worst and I hoped for the best. And every day I said, God, I know you have a plan for me. And I just, there were bad days, but I just kept putting my faith in, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this.
Wow.
And it happened.
It sure did.
So I really think, you know, there's a lot of negative in this world today, and all you have to do is turn on the TV, and which I don't do. I do just enough.
You focus on the positive.
Yes, because we need to be the positive. So we're
And
walking.
we get so caught up in little things that don't matter. Yes.
Look at the thing, traffic, sitting in traffic.
Right, getting
How
mad
many
because
horns?
you're, yeah.
Yeah. What you better enjoy sitting behind
Yeah,
that
right.
car because, or in the grocery
You're
store
healthy
line.
and you're sitting in
Right.
traffic in Boca Raton.
Right.
You got nothing to complain about.
The alternative is being 6 feet under.
Oh.
I'll sit and stand in line.
Good point.
Yeah. When a person says to me, "Oh my gosh, you're a miracle," because they say it all the time, and I said, just remember that, because miracles are happening all the time, but we just do not slow down long enough to see them.
You're right. You're right. So I've been thinking while I've been talking to you, people get depressed over stupid things. Like you said, sitting in traffic, maybe a fight with a family member. All of that is nonsense.
Right.
Absolute nonsense. Maybe because they don't have a bad experience like you've had, they don't appreciate what they have or appreciate other people, the connection of other people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's perspective. It really, really is. And stress causes depression. So when all these people are getting so excited in traffic, their anxiety, before you know it, everything gets to them and they're depressed.
Did you get depressed at all during this?
Yeah.
You never went on depression medication?
No.
Okay.
No. I went to the beach because that is where my peace is.
I remember
and
you
the
telling me that.
ocean, it's the ocean is the answer. I've always said the ocean
Yeah,
is the
I feel the
answer.
same
It's
way.
healing.
Yes.
You have a bad day, go sit at the ocean and tell me you don't feel better.
I totally agree with you on that. Just smell the salt
And
air.
that's what you
feel
have
the-
to do.
Yeah.
When times are bad and challenging, you have to put yourself in an environment that uplifts you. Otherwise, you're going to stay right down
No
there
negativity.
and dig it deeper. Yeah.
What about the people you surround yourself with? Do you find yourself, after this happened, like getting some people out of your life and bringing others in?
Yeah, that definitely happens. The people that needed to, walk away, cancer's a big thing. People don't know what to say. Oh, you're going to
Right.
be okay. Well, I like to believe, oh, I'm going to be okay, but that that is not for certain. So I really try. I always say I vibrate high.
You do.
So normally, if you're around me, I'm pretty upbeat. Every day my
Yes.
feet hit the ground is a good day.
And I believe that has a lot to do with
It
why you're here
does.
today.
It does. And not to say, none of my problems, my friends have problems, because they do. But I really try to, when we get together, it's either a time, we'll do one-on-one when we need to talk, but we're in a group, we have fun.
Yeah.
And talk and laugh. And that's what sisterhood's about.
Right.
And
And that brings you up, and that probably helps
yes,
you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, at this point, what is your prognosis? What are the doctors telling you the future holds?
So I still am an active oncology patient at lung cancer.
You're not considered a stage 4 lung cancer patient anymore?
A survivor.
How do you get to stage 4 and then you can get out?
Well, I have no tumors in me.
So then
so
it's based on.
but they won't say remission for me. So
They won't.
I still take 500 pills a month,
You were telling me that.
and they don't come without their side effects.
What are the side effects?
Side effects are serious bruising, cutting. My skin doesn't look so great. It just, like you see
Your face
older
looks great.
people.
I gotta
Thank
tell
God,
you.
that's right, May. But
I'm gonna write that down.
yeah, but like you see older people, and they're all
skin is
bruised.
very thin,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay, and that's a
really
side effect of the medication?
medication. Lots of medication.
Will you be on this medication indefinitely?
until it quits working? That's what I've been told.
You told me that years ago, though, and they didn't know how long it would work
Yeah.
for. So,
you take it until it quits working.
and then there's maybe something else.
Right, and that's
I would
what they
imagine the
say.
science has really improved since the last time I interviewed you.
Yeah,
Because it was happening so quickly
yes,
at that time.
and there are so many new drugs that are different. But I have really, that has been a huge stumbling block for me, is if and when. Where is it going to come? When's it going to come back?
So you go to sleep at night. Do you worry about that?
No, I pray.
You pray. You're a
Yep.
religious person.
First
you
thing
told
I
me.
do in the morning, last thing I do at night.
Aw.
I'll look at social media and I'll do all my other stuff, but before my feet hit the ground, that's the first thing I do. And I have the app on my phone. It's pretty easy. And then at night, that's the last thing that I do.
So you pray before you get up and before you go to bed.
Yeah, I have
And
a
you
lot
said you
to
do
be
go to
thankful
church?
for. I'm a churchgoer, and I hope everyone believes in something higher than the self, whatever that is. But I like to think we're all about ourselves. We're not it. So
100%.
yeah.
Wow.
So you just keep pushing on. You cannot let what has happened to you affect you forever, because it will.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a good story. People need to hear
Yes,
it, because if you do not have hope, you have nothing.
And you believe that your positive outlook contributed to getting you to where you are today.
Definitely.
I agree with that, because you've always been a bubbly, upbeat person
Definitely.
through all of this adversity.
Yeah, I practice gratitude way more than what I used to, because I was always a
Were you changed?
churchgoer. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. I realize now, and I realize through it every day, how grateful I was. Really, I mean, I was sick and I was on blood thinners and had all the complications of that. But I was like, okay, it's another day. And I always say, with every sunrise comes the promise of a new day. Every day, I'm riding my bike. I was on my bike this morning at 5:30, but I always stop for the sunrise.
Oh.
So I have a trillion pictures of the sunrise, and yeah, don't let the sun go down on me. Don't really care about sunsets.
Right.
But,
Sunrise.
yeah.
Well, you're certainly an inspiration. And if you have one message for my viewers, what would that be?
Practice gratitude every day for something. You know, look at this beautiful park. Look at, you see a bird chirping. Little things to be grateful for, because we all have stuff in our life
Yes.
that pull us down, and no matter what, always have hope.
Okay, negative people. There are a lot around us. There's some in my life. What do we do about them?
That's a hard one, because you really do not want, I hate to say it, you don't want anybody sucking the life out of you and sucking your energy. And you know when you're around certain people what kind of vibration you're going to get from them. Where they're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm going to laugh, it's going to be upbeat, or it's going to be, okay, how long do I have?
Right.
You know, do I have 30 minutes to really? So, and what can you, so it's hard. You have to balance it. You know, I want to be supportive. I have learned a whole lot, even though I'm not doing it right now. It's just to sit and listen, close my mouth
Listen
and
to
open
people.
my ears.
Good point.
You know,
Good
so
point.
we all have to be supportive. There was plenty of people that were way supportive of me. And I need to give that back too.
Okay, before we end this interview, I want to ask you about the future. We all look ahead of the future. We're all getting older,
Right.
and we're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
You have the fear of thinking it may be sooner rather than later. How do you deal with that?
I have learned through a lot of therapy, because PTSD, it's been, a very traumatic thing for me. And it's the fear of the past and how it affects the future. And what I've learned is you better be in the present right now.
Live in the present.
Yeah, live in the present, because the future holds its own. And the past is gone.
Right.
So don't look back and be dragged down about that. But any of us can be hit by a car tomorrow, hit by a bus, walk in front of a bus. So if you have stuff on your bucket list, what are you waiting for? Don't wait. Because if I would have, Kilimanjaro came up and I'm like, I'm in.
I'm doing it.
However I can afford it, however I can make it happen, probably won't come up again. So if I'm going to do it now. You know, those great vacations that you want to take with your family, figure out a way to make it happen. How to get off work, how to raise the funds. Yeah, live today. Live today like you're going to die tomorrow.
Wow.
That's what I would say.
Well, thanks for sitting down with me again,
So
and we're going to do more
nice.
interviews. You're probably my
Yes.
favorite person that I've
Aw.
interviewed.
Well-
So inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. You're the
Love you.
best.
This is a great interview, and I know you're going to continue to do wonderful things, and I'm going to continue to interview you
Good.
because these are very
Good.
positive interviews, and
Good.
people need to see this and hear it.
Eat your vegetables
Raw
or
juice.
better rest, drink
Very.
them. Yes, the best. Very
Okay,
best,
everybody,
raw juice.
thanks for joining me on this episode of the Becky and Boca Show in beautiful Wildflower Park in downtown Boca Raton. All right,
Thank you.
see you next
Bye.
week.